It was wondrous to witness that pro-pipeline convoy roll into Ottawa. Indeed, what's not to love? But alas, like ants drawn to an open jam jar, the lunatic fringe known as Antifa showed up to protest a convoy of Westerners who were advocating for pipelines, progress, and prosperity. Gee, I guess being pro-oil sands makes one racist or xenophobic or Islamophobic. I mean, developing the homegrown product could hurt sales of Saudi Arabian oil after all. You know, I actually kind of feel sorry for Antifa. Their rank and file are always so clueless, so lost, so loserish. And based on their most recent Ottawa appearance, these pathetic dolts have proven that by their words and actions, that they exist as a perverse contradiction to common sense. In fact, let me count the ways. Number one, for starters, Antifa gathered in front of Parliament Hill to exercise their free speech, which, by the way, is something I fully support, of course. We on the right tolerate free speech, even the insidious sort, because to do otherwise would make us hypocrites when it comes to the very concept behind free speech. But the same cannot be said of Antifa, which is always hell-bent on curtailing the free speech of those they do not agree with. Case in point, we spotted an Antifa thug destroying a pro-pipeline sign that was affixed to the grille of a truck. Unfortunately, we didn't capture this on camera, but nevertheless, while this vandal spouted profanity in the public square for whatever cause he was spearheading, he also felt completely entitled to destroy the personal property of others who espoused a differing opinion. And apparently only Antifa is blind to this irony. Number two, here's another dichotomy for you. There were numerous signs that stated no one is illegal, but one of the counter-protesters kept yelling at the Alberta convoy folks to, quote, go back to England, end quote.
You're English! Go back to England! You're not welcome here! You're not welcome here! Go back to England!
Go ahead.
You're not welcome here! You're not from here! You're not from here! You're a foreigner! Go back to England! Go home, goof.
England? Why England? Because they are white and because they speak English, I presume? But wait a minute, I thought no one is illegal. It's right there on the signs, or does the no one is illegal slogan apply only to non-white, non-English speaking illegal migrants? Because if that's the case, it would appear that some people residing in Canada are indeed illegal, although not the ones that should be. Number three, I would assume that when you gather to protest or counter-protest something, the idea is to make a point, especially if the media is there. But when I asked why they were counter-protesting the United We Roll convoy, what did we get? Well, we got F-bombs and middle fingers and signs and flags shoved in our camera lens. Don't get me wrong, I'm not whining here, folks. On the contrary, you see, if you cannot articulate any of your points, then you've effectively lost the debate by default. Thanks, Antifa, for yet again forfeiting due to voluntary self-exclusion. Number four, the subgroups of Antifa are always interesting. Check out this one. The homemade sign reads, Jews against fascism, but she appeared to be by herself, so really, I guess it's merely a Jew against fascism. But where is the fascism she frets over? Well, maybe if this particular protester glanced over at her comrades in arms, she would have discovered fascism galore, which leads me to point number 5. Check out the de rigueur hammer and sickle flags that always accompany Antifa protests. That's right, the official crest of communism, the very symbol of fascism classic, an ideology that was responsible for the slaughter of more than 100 million people in just a single century. All of which makes Antifa the ultimate enigma, really. The very word Antifa is supposed to be shorthand for anti-fascism. But by the symbols they embrace, by the phrases they chant, by the violence they commit, Antifa is not anti-fascist. Antifa is actually pro-fascist. So guys, how about a little rebranding here? Can you kindly drop the anti part of your name and just call yourself FA, as in FA for fascism? I mean, that way we could commend you on embracing some truth in advertising, at least. For the Rebel.Media, I'm David the Menzies. Hey folks, you can listen to all Rebel shows now as a podcast. Please go to the Rebel.Media/listen.